Welcome to the Pi Network Ecosystem Directory. Here you can stake your Pi to support local applications. Simply choose a project, select your amount, and lock it in to earn rewards.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really fascinating new development from the Pi Network, ecosystem directory staking, and how it's solving the massive app discovery problem. If you're a developer, a creator, or honestly just someone watching how decentralized networks are evolving to support actual real-world utility, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this. We're going to break down the brand new visual update and the exact tools being deployed to help apps rise above all that digital noise. Let's get into it. So here's the massive paradox facing developers right now, or vibe coders as the Pi Network calls them. On one hand, AI-assisted tools have totally revolutionized the building phase. It's literally easier than ever to write code, design an interface, and just launch an app. But there's a pretty heavy flip side to that. Because it's so easy to build, the market is completely flooded. It is incredibly tough to break through that noise and actually reach real engaged users. You could build the absolute best app in the world, right? But if nobody knows it exists, it's just not going to survive. That right there is the core friction point we're unpacking today. Which brings us to Section 1, the app discovery problem and unlocking attention in the Pi ecosystem. To really grasp the scale of the opportunity here, we got to look at the numbers. The Pi ecosystem has this incredibly powerful resource, a massive global community of over 60 million engaged pioneers. Think about that for a second. 60 million people. These are folks who are already active on the network, just waiting to discover new apps and utilities. For any business or developer, having potential access to a user base of that size is a total game changer. But the million-dollar question isn't whether the users are there. It's how you organically get your specific app right in front of them so they can actually use it. So what's the fix? Well, let's dive into Section 2. What is ecosystem staking? The decentralized solution. Okay, so according to the source material, ecosystem directory staking is basically a decentralized way for pioneers and businesses to actively support and boost the ranking of Pi apps. By simply staking Pi on the mainnet blockchain, literally anyone can directly increase an app's exposure. It's kind of like a self-service avenue for visibility. By staking, you're directly influencing the ecosystem interface, the place where pioneers are browsing apps by category. This action pushes the app higher up the ranks. And what does that mean? More impressions, more visibility, and a much higher chance of driving actual real user traffic to that utility. Now, this is where the whole Web3 advantage really shines. Just think about your typical Web2 app directories for a minute. How do they rank things? Usually, it's just 5-star ratings or text comments, right? And we all know those can be so easily manipulated, spammed, or just artificially pumped up by bots. But in the Pi Network ecosystem, the community actually reviews and ranks apps using real economic weight. You're putting your mainnet Pi on the line to signal your support. That is a way stronger, way more authentic indicator that an app is actually valuable compared to, say, a random text comment. What's super interesting about this is just how lightweight it is for developers. This utility originally launched in June 2025, and it was designed right from the start to require minimum effort to set up and participate. Now, if you're a developer trying to get users, sure, you could go through the Pi Ad Network or the Pi Launchpad, but those routes, they come with some pretty heavy application and approval processes. Ecosystem directory staking, on the other hand, is a much faster, frictionless alternative. It lets you tap straight into Pi's user base without all those administrative bottlenecks. It's just so much smoother. So let's look at a real-world case study to see this economic weight in action. Section 3, a city game's success story and proof of community power. Check this out. During their beta launch, the City Games app saw an absolutely incredible surge of support. In less than one single week, the community organically boosted the game's ranking by locking in 3.19 million staked Pi. Let that number just sink in for a second. 3.19 million. That is a massive amount of Pi put forward by pioneers as a highly visible, undeniable signal of genuine interest. And the kicker? It wasn't paid marketing spend. It was decentralized, community-driven economic weight, physically pushing this app to the front of the line. And here is the direct payoff of that staking action. That massive surge in visibility translated almost instantly into over 1.2 million gameplays in under 7 days. The correlation here is just crystal clear. The decentralized stake drove the ranking drove the impressions, and those impressions drove over 1 million real user interactions in just days. It's literally a textbook example of how a developer can use this network feature to just instantly acquire an active user base. To make this whole process even smoother, they just rolled out a big change. Section 4. The new visual update. Enhancing discovery in the Pi browser. So this new visual update lives right inside the Pi browser. Specifically, you can now easily find these community-driven app rankings sitting right there in the Pi Apps tab. The updated design brings a bunch of user experience improvements that make ecosystem discovery and navigation so much easier. Whether you're a developer obsessively checking your app's rank, or you're a pioneer just looking for the next cool utility to support, the interface has been totally optimized. It makes finding and interacting with these staked applications completely intuitive. But hey, before you jump in and start locking up your Pi, let's cover Section 5, the truth about rewards, and how staking incentives actually work. Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. The Pi protocol remains totally, 100% neutral. As the official documentation explicitly states, there are no Pi rewards at the protocol level for staking, as the network does not promote one Pi app over another. The network itself, it does not play favorites. It just provides the decentralized infrastructure so the community can vote with their economic weight. It does not magically generate new Pi to reward you just for participating in the directory staking. So, you might be wondering, where exactly is the incentive? Well, instead of the protocol, it's actually the third-party developers who get to choose what incentives to offer you for your support. A developer might decide to reward your stake with special VIP app features, a better user experience, or specific in-app promotions. Basically, they're incentivizing you to help them get discovered. And honestly, perhaps the most important thing for your peace of mind here, your original staked amount of Pi is always fully returned to you the second the agreed-upon staking duration ends. You're locking it up to lend your economic weight, for sure, but you are not spending it. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this whole explainer. We've seen how AI makes building an app incredibly easy, but finding real users incredibly hard. And we've seen how ecosystem directory staking offers this lightweight, decentralized, and economically weighted solution to completely bypass that noise. So for all you creators, businesses, and vibe coders out there who are grinding away building the next big thing, the final question is simply this. Now that you actually have the tools to organically reach them, how will you use the attention of 60 million pioneers?